there's a rivalry that exists between these two teams, something that I fully recognize and I'm a part of. And yeah, I mean, I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
Even in celebration of the Bears' biggest win in 15 years, the burning hatred for their biggest rivals 48 hours later still hasn't cooled off.
People have talked about, like, between you and LaFleur, the two wins things, the handshakes. Beyond, getting this important playoff win, why is this important to you, or is there something personal beyond that?
This is a rivalry, and city of Chicago, Green Bay, it needs to be a rivalry.
Bears were back at Hallis Hall today, reliving the franchise's greatest postseason comeback ever.
Games like that you're going to remember your whole career, and then even when you retire. Like, these are type games that it's going to go down in history books just as far as, everything that went into it. But it was definitely a turned-up moment. Like, you could just see the energy in the locker room, you know what I mean? Like, everybody was like, okay, man got a little swag by himself, you know what I mean? But, I mean, we all put a lot into this, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to, kind of just, act off your true emotions and your true personality, I mean, I think that's what it was for him. I know the fans loved it. I know just everybody that, about this rivalry that we've been talking about, it goes so far back. Like, there's a lot of emotion built up into it, and any time that you win in that fashion, like, you got to show a little bit of emotion for sure.
For a lifelong Bears fan like myself, the win over the Packers, man, it was cathartic. The scars, they'll always remind me, but I believe the rivalry is finally turning after 3 decades, and now it's on to the Rams, right? 40 years ago today, I remember sitting in the stands by myself as a season ticket holder. The Bears' legendary defense, violent as usual against the 11-5 Rams. Eric Dickerson, that terrific running back, he was a non-factor in that game. And I will never forget, and either will you if you were at that game, the snow falling, Wilbur Marshall picking up a fumble and racing 52 yards for the touchdown, putting the Rams away 24-0. It was a moment I will never forget. And 40 years to the day, today, the 2025 Bears are ready for a different Rams team. This group, the NFL's most explosive this season, the highest scoring team, averaging over 30 points and almost 400 yards a game.
I've got so much respect for that guy. I mean, you talk about the ultimate competitor. He's one of the more supremely talented throwers of the football I've ever been around in my life. He's outstanding. I think he's a great teammate. But what I think second to none with him is his toughness, physical toughness. Like, this guy's gone through a lot, and yet finds a way to will himself onto the field to be there for his teammates. So when you look at him from just a competitor standpoint, like, this is a really good player, and he's going to will himself to help his team out the most.
All right, let's bring in Cassie Carlson from Hallis Hall. Bears regroup today to start getting ready for their divisional playoff matchup with the Rams. Cassie, good to see you. First, before I get into what you learned today at Hallis Hall, for you personally, what was Saturday's experience like? You joined us on the postgame show. I'm telling you, the energy in the stadium with you shooting that shot, it had the newsroom shaking. I mean, I was freaking out just watching. I know your dad is a big Bears fan. What was it like for you?
I mean, it was incredible. Definitely one of those top moments that you have just being a reporter in this business, and you think of all those big games you've been to. That is one that I will remember forever. Part of the reason was, too, because we were down in the end zone waiting to get that shot for the post-game show, and so I got to watch the final minute and a half of Green Bay trying to drive down the field to win that game, and it felt like the longest minute and a half of my life, just seeing Jordan Love and the completions he would get. They would get a first down, and you're like, gosh, is Green Bay really going to do it this time and walk this game off? And so I think my favorite part is I have a video on my phone that I keep watching back of that final play. And It oddly reminded me of sitting in the press box back in D.C. when the Bears had the Hail Mary, because there was so much time that passed. There wasn't any pressure on Jordan Love. And when the ball was in the air, the crowd went silent. And then as soon as they saw it hit Kyler Gordon in the chest and then it fall to the ground, it just erupted. And everyone on the field just celebrating. I wish I saw Ben Johnson fall to the ground celebrating with Rome Odunze. That was an all-timer. And I think Drew Dahlman said it best. That's one that they're going to remember forever.
It sure was. Even watching, it was something that I'll never forget. All right, I know you had a chance to talk with Ben Johnson, some of the players today at Hallis Hall. What's the feeling there? Are they still shocked that they were able to pull that game out? Do they feel like, hey, we deserve to win, our defense turned the game around, and Caleb took the offense and actually took advantage of a Packers team that was unraveling before our eyes? What was the feeling you were given today?
I would sense that this team is trying to move on from that game, knowing that they have another game this weekend. And granted, because it was Saturday night, they had all day yesterday, including Saturday night after the game, to kind of digest everything, watch some games on TV yesterday before coming back in the building today, where they are going to turn the page to the Rams, because the reality is this season isn't over. And what Ben Johnson keeps saying is that belief has become their identity, and there's enough belief in this locker room to take them far. And so I think right now players are still, if I had to guess, trying to kind of digest what happened, every play that happened at the end of the game. There were so many key moments in that game, while also understanding that no one cares what they did last week once Sunday comes, and the Rams are coming in trying to knock off the 2 seed and get a cold weather win and advance to the NFC Championship, and that's what's at stake right now. And so today is the first time they're in the building, in meetings. Case Keenum had a message about, just moving on from that game, and kind of what I said before, that no one cares what happened in the past. It's all about turning the page to the future. And so today will be a regrouping day to get their eyes on the Rams.
If anyone had a better time than Caleb Williams on Saturday night, you need to tell me who, because the guy threw for a Bears postseason record 361 yards. He looked like Michael Jordan with the jump man pose on that pass to Odunze that you talked about. The guy was in his element, playing Superman with that comeback. Did Ben Johnson talk about Caleb's work today?
I mean, yeah, basically what I said before, that he just felt like he played really well. And I think it was all foreshadowing what Caleb Williams said early in the week, last week, about how he feels in big games, saying that he's built for the moment and he has the right mentality. And yet again, we saw it come to life in their 7th comeback win. And for a team to never truly feel like they're out is wildly incredible, especially at this stage. He's still young, and I think that's something that a couple of the players pointed out today, is the fact that it's Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, all these young players making these plays is so promising for the future of this franchise. And then, of course, we saw the moment in the locker room with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams after the game, where he gets the game ball, and Caleb, being a captain of this team, turns it around and says, hey, I want to give this game ball to Ben Johnson for winning the first playoff game, first Bears playoff win in 15 seasons, and just talking and getting emotional about how much the head coach now means to the quarterback.
For me personally, he's been, get emotional. For me personally, he's been monumental in my life so far. Yeah. And, to his first playoff win as a Chicago Bear.
And when Ben Johnson was asked about it today, he said that's why you get into coaching, for moments like that to impact people, young people around you. And so I think we're seeing in real time, and we've kind of seen it develop all season long, the relationship forming between head coach and quarterback, and all the things that Ben Johnson said he wanted to do with his quarterback, of seeing the game through the play caller's eyes, building a relationship off the field, getting to know each other so well that they trust each other, is all playing out in real time, and it's at its peak right now.
Johnson, he's a stoic man on the sidelines. When he talked about it today, did he show any emotion?
Well, this guy loves the Packers-Bears rivalry and believes it should stay a rivalry. We all saw the locker room celebration. I think I said it on the postgame show. It's like, this is going to be an all-timer good, better, best, if I had to guess. And it was when he dropped the F the Packers line that they elected to leave in that video. I'm guessing that had to go through several levels of confirmation that they could leave that in, because if you know anything about the McCaskies, if you watched Hard Knocks, you know that they do not condone profanity. That is not usually seen or heard in any videos that they release, but there was one exception, and that was on Saturday. Take a listen to what Ben Johnson had to say about it.
It's a big game, first playoff game at home in a while, and, we hadn't won a playoff game in 15 years or so. But certainly the opponent in and of itself, it means a lot to the city, this organization, and that's something that we certainly play into a little bit as coaches and players. Is we know how big it is when Chicago plays Green Bay.
I love it. Ben Johnson, 39 years old. He is the next generation coach. He is coaching for the Bears of now and for the future. And I know it's a little bit controversial right now, but I think that kind of what we've been talking about of the Bears, this franchise, the city hanging their hat on the success of the '85 Bears, I think he is trying to put this team in the conversation of being the team that we talk about from here on out. And I love that he is building this rivalry back up.
Hey, for the miracle comeback, Bears get to host the Rams, football's highest scoring team, one of the NFL's best coaches, Sean McVay. Are they ready to take on the Rams and McVay?
Well, they beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams at home last year. Matthew Stafford is 1-9, I read, in cold weather games. It's supposed to be single-digit temperatures at Soldier Field on Sunday. So all those things are positives. But Ben Johnson coached Matthew Stafford for 2 seasons in Detroit. He knows how good of a quarterback he is. He says he has one of those supreme arms, but even a tougher competitor. I saw today that he had sprained his index finger on his throwing hand last game, but McVay said he's going to play. He is an MVP candidate, and to have a good quarterback in the playoffs is something that every team dreams of. I think the Bears have one too, but given the experience of Matthew Stafford and the passing attack that they have, it's going to be a really tough test, but Soldier Field's elements could come into play again.
All right, thanks, Cassie. Cassie Carlson joining us from Hallis Hall. Bears started getting ready for the Rams today. Monday, and they'll take Tuesday off, and then they'll get into their work schedule starting on Wednesday. Coming up, Fox Sports 1's Danny Parkins joins us as we continue with Chicago Sports Tonight on a Monday night here on Fox. Bears rallying with 25 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Packers 31-27. Hey, man, it's the biggest comeback in franchise history. Welcome back to a Monday night edition of Chicago Sports Tonight. Lou Cadellis with you. There he is, Danny Parkins from Fox Sports 1's First Things First. Danny, you were there front and center. I loved it. I've seen the pictures on social media. First row, right behind the Bears bench. You survived Saturday night. Honestly, now, I want you to give me some feeling here. You're a Chicago kid. Forget about sporting events. Where did that moment rank in your life?
Oh, man, rank in my life. Listen, I like to think that I have some decent perspective. And, the wedding, the bachelor party, the birth of the kids, maybe a few moments above that, but not many, man. It was, listen, if you want me to be sentimental, why am I taking a picture with that Packers fan? That is my nephew, Jack, my brother, Brad, who passed away from brain cancer, who I raised a bunch of money for in his honor, was raised in Wisconsin. His older brother, my dad was from Wisconsin, so they're all cheeseheads. And so being able to go to that game with my nephew and be in those seats and then be able to bring some friends too it was pretty special, because I know Brad would have been there if he could. I know my dad would have been there if he could. So it was a pretty special thing. And then the football game happened, which really put it over the top.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. And that's why I asked you, because I knew that it was more than just a football game for you. I know, the charity that you're behind. So it was a special moment to be there and watch the Bears and Packers. And you came dressed for the occasion. You warned us last Monday. You'll be noticed in the first row. You were. Who helped you put that outfit together?
Yeah, so the lovely people out here at FS1 bought me the Bears robe, the very plush robe. I was like, man, this thing is warmer than a jacket. So I was like, I don't even need a jacket. And then, I had a Bears hoodie, obviously, had a Bears winter hat, obviously, but we've been looking for weeks. We couldn't get a cheese grater. Like, they kept selling out on the cheese grater hat. They kept selling out online. And so I was very concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get the cheese grater. I felt like it was the thing I needed to bring the outfit over the top. And thankfully, I was at a great tailgate with our friends at CHGO beforehand, and there were some vendors out there just like selling items on the street. And the guy had like 2 cheese graters left, and he was like $50. I'm like, it's a piece of styrofoam, right? And he was like, yeah, you know about supply and demand, right? I was like, yeah, good point. And I gave him a 50 and peeled it off. And so I got the cheese grater day of the game from a guy at Wabash and Cermak. That was the final touch that I needed.
Buddy, I just saw a news story. The back order's 10,000 strong right now.
Yeah.
So for $50, you got a deal.
Listen, I felt the same way. I just wanted it known that, like, the markup, he probably could have sold it for $150, So yeah. I felt pretty good about my purchase.
Who gets credit in your mind for the second half turnaround? Is it Caleb? Is it the defense? Is it the Packers, their ability to lose the composure that they had?
This is not like the hot take, like, condensed answer, but it's a combination of everything, right? Like, Dennis Allen and his defense made great second half adjustments. They only allowed 6 points in the second half. Ben Johnson and what he told the team at halftime, calling back to having Grady Jarrett and Joe Thuney talking in preseason about the 28-3 Super Bowl comeback that they were on either side of in the Patriots-Falcons game, like, clearly resonated with the guys. Caleb Williams made unbelievable. I mean, the throw to Roma Odunze that everyone's talking about, we forget that throw to history if the Bears don't do everything they did after it, with the touchdown to Zacchaeus and the 2-point conversion to Loveland and then the game winner to DJ Moore. And so then people are like, well, I was talking with Cowherd earlier today, name drop, and he was like, it feels like, Ben Johnson is a first half guy and Caleb Williams is a second half guy, like scheme early, artiste late. And I was like, I don't know. That touchdown pass to DJ Moore was the perfect play call in the perfect spot that was built off of the wide receiver screen that they had done earlier in the game. So, like, that's Ben Johnson's brilliance as a play caller. So it's a cop-out of an answer, but everybody gets credit for it. Now, no matter what happens, not that it's house money, not that I don't think they can make the Super Bowl, not that I don't want them to win the Super Bowl. Now, no matter what happens, the team that had the most successful year in the NFL is the team that wins the Super Bowl. But the second most successful season in the NFL is the Chicago Bears. Like, found your coach, found your quarterback, exercised the demons against the Packers, validated it all by winning that game. Moment we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Like, this has been the most enjoyable Bears season outside of a Super Bowl trip in my lifetime.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bears football, Danny, is so much better when the Bears can walk the talk, stick their chest out about winning 3 of the last 4 meetings with the Packers, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Like, sports are better with rivalries. Obviously, like, less hate in the world, more hate in sports. It's a good thing. And I also, like, and I'm going to say something that, like, you fully understand and your viewers fully understand, but I will say it anyway. This is a different type of rivalry. Like, it's not New York and Boston where the fans are all just cursing at each other and fighting all the time. Like, the chance that Bears fans will break out into is like, Green Bay sucks. It's not F the Packers, like, because we're like Midwest nice. So it's kind of nice that the Bears coach took it to that level and like had to get permission from George McCaskey to curse because we know how George feels about cursing. And like these teams, the McCaskey family are descendants of George Halas. It's a family business. The Packers are owned by the fans. Like, these are not traditional billionaires. These aren't tech people. These aren't market people. Like my dad's family are all cheeseheads. Like, these are our neighbors. We are in each other's weddings. We work with them. Like, it's a different type of, like, familial rivalry, proximity rivalry, historical rivalry. So, like, the idea that they're both good at the same time with some genuine sports hatred for each other, not real hatred, sports hatred, like, it's a good thing. It's what sports are supposed to be.
Before I let you go, tell me, where are we on the Parkins Super Bowl meter?
Man, well, let's say 25% would be each of the next 2 games are coin flips. They're an underdog in this game. They'd be an underdog in the NFC Championship game at Seattle, which suggests they should be lower than 25%. But I'm telling you, man, Pope Leo, he's Pope Bob from the South Side. The Blues Brothers were on a mission from God, so it's got to be more than 25%. That seemed like some sort of divine intervention with what happened in the fourth quarter of that game against the Packers. So I don't know. I'll say 33%. Bears go to the Super Bowl.
I'll take it. I went to church yesterday, and I said a prayer myself after what I saw on Saturday. Danny, as always, man, thanks for the time.
Oh, thank you so much, Lou. I appreciate you, buddy, and we'll talk next week. Bear down.
Now, hours before the game on Saturday night, there are pictures showing NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, along with Kevin Warren and owner George McCaskey, at the Arlington Heights property the Bears purchased, the old Arlington Park racetrack. What were they doing there? Well, guess what? The man who had those pictures on his social media site is sitting alongside Paris Schutz, the host of the Chicago Report. What were they doing there? What's the latest?
Just chatting about a game that was going to take place in the next few hours. No, this was a picture on social media that I spread on social media. It was sent to me by a friend of a friend who caught them on the Arlington Park site, having a little confab there. And sources close to the Bears confirm it, that they were meeting and touring the Arlington Park site with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. They were also touring sites in Northwest Indiana while he was in town here. And Lou, this stadium battle is really heating up as Northwest Indiana is about to come forward with a potential package of maybe incentives and tax breaks to try and lure the Bears across state lines.
Well, I'm glad that Roger Goodell had an opportunity to go to the Arlington Heights racetrack site and also to Indiana, because part of the financing for the Bears to build this new stadium comes from the NFL. Give us an idea of what's the latest on Indiana right now.
What I'm told is that the Indiana bid is serious, and everyone close to the Bears says, this is not leverage. This is serious. We want to see what they offer, and if it's a good offer for the team, an offer that makes sense economically, geographically, then they're not tied to Illinois. They're not tied to Arlington Heights. Illinois lawmakers, I'm not sure that they view it that way. I think they still view it as they're just trying to, just get some leverage here to get a deal that they have not been able to get yet with Illinois lawmakers.
Yeah, but Governor Pritzker came out again last week and he said that the state of Illinois will not write a $1 billion check for the Chicago Bears. He doubled down. He said that he wouldn't give any tax breaks either. At some point, won't the state of Illinois have to at least help in some way to keep the Bears?
Well, the legislation that they're seeking in Illinois would give them or other mega developments that big the ability to negotiate property taxes with the community. And what lawmakers have called that, well, that's a tax break. That's a giveaway. The Bears say they need this because in order to attract the investors, the banks, the institutional money to build the stadium, which they're going to build and finance on their own, they need to have that long-term certainty. So the argument that they make is, if they know what their property tax level is going to be going forward, they can get those loans.
That seems fair.
If it's like, $5 million this year and then $200 million next year,
that's not fair.
Then they can't get the loans. And and I've talked to Mark Gannis, a stadium business expert, said that's absolutely true. The investors need that certainty. Gannis, the way Gannis has characterized this, is a sweetheart deal for the state. The complete opposite of what's happening in Kansas, where they're basically giving away the store and not going to keep any of the revenue. Here, it's just that tax certainty bill plus infrastructure money, but the Bears have vowed to build the entire stadium on their own without state help.
What about if Indiana gives away the state?
The Bears, from everyone I talk to, are going to take that very seriously and weigh and offer in all the factors and make their decision that this is something that they're seriously engaged in. Now, this week we might know a lot more. Governor Mike Braun of Indiana is giving his State of the State address on Wednesday, and a lot of folks close to the Bears expect he might say something about a potential package of incentives to lure the team across state lines.
Has anyone gotten a temperature of what the taxpayers in Indiana are willing to accept?
No, we haven't really gotten the temperature. This is going through Mike Braun, so the governor there is kind of leading this legislative push. But, Lou, if you go to Wolf Lake, that's right across the border from Illinois. That's Hammond, Indiana. Are Indiana taxpayers across the state going to feel good about giving away their money to a stadium that's literally going to be a hop, skip, and a jump from Chicago? I mean, I don't know. Personally, if you're a taxpayer in Carmel or in Fort Wayne or something, is that a good deal for the state? To me, it seems like a bit of a heavy lift. But Governor Braun is the one publicly saying, no, we want to lure this development here. Right. And then you've got the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, do they want a competing stadium?
I can't imagine they do.
No.
No. What do you have coming up on the Chicago Report?
We're going to dig more into that, Lou. And I have to hat tip Greg Berger, an Arlington Heights resident, who took that picture from his car while he was dropping his kid off to go to the Bears game. He was dropping his kid off at the Metro. And he saw these guys, and he's like, "Oh, I better take a picture."
Those guys look familiar.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a picture for Paris Schutz.
Yeah,
Paris,
yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right,
Paris, coming up next with the Chicago Report. Special thanks to Paris, Cassie Carlson, Fox Sports 1's Danny Parkins for joining us tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to find out how they're feeling in Wisconsin these days. Yeah.
Crying into their beer cheese
soup? Let's hope they are when we bring you First and North. That is on Tuesday. Have a good night, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.